Hey guys, welcome back to my second channel where I try to provide a little bit more technical info about the drones and all the gear that I use for FPV freestyle. So earlier this week I released my frame, the Skyeliner. Got my t-shirt on. And if you didn't see the kind of announcement video that was part of my vlog on my main channel, check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. And that video is just kind of more dedicated to my experience in designing the frame and just kind of sharing my excitement about it. But yeah, not so much the technical specifics about the frame. So I'm going to be making a couple of videos on this channel where I can answer some more of the specific questions about the frame, the specs, things like that. So to start off, we're gonna just do a general assembly. So I've got this like overhead tripod setup going on here, and I've got a frame kit laid out, and we're just gonna put it together and walk you through exactly what goes into the general assembly. It's not too complicated. All you really need is a 2mm hex tool thing and some Loctite. So let me get this camera up there and we'll do the things. Alright, I should have my overhead camera all good to go. Alright, so this is everything that comes with the frame kit. You've got all your carbon fiber pieces, so these are your arms, your front plates, your main plate, your top plate, and the lower stiffener. You've got these baggies of the hardware, so the standoffs and the screws, and the soft mount gummies. Up here we've got your battery pad, and this is grip. So it's like that that cell phone pad material. It's like that really sticky stuff. So when you peel off the cover, it's like, yeah, it's awesome. I love this stuff because it keeps your battery from sliding. We've got your battery straps. These are little foam feet. Actually, I don't really use these. They make the landing softer, but I actually prefer the Rotor Riot quad skids that go into the motor, so you can actually do skidding landings. And up here are some stickers. So for assembly, let's get this stuff out of the way. We're going to start by attaching the arms to the main plate. But before we do that, I want to get these soft mount gummies in place, because once the arms are in place, it's harder to put these in. So the holes for the flight stack, they're oversized. They're actually 4mm rather than 3mm, and that's to accommodate these gummies. So what these do is provide vibration isolation for the electronic stack, so all the vibration and mechanical noise from the spinning motors and dinged up props and all that stuff doesn't have as much of an effect on the gyro and the flight performance. These insert just into the 4 flight stack holes. I usually like pinch it and push in corner of it and then just try to grab it on the other side and just pull it through. Alright, we've got our grommets in place, and now we'll actually attach the arms. So let's grab our bag of hardware and open this up. And here we've got standoffs and screws. There are 2 sizes of standoffs and 2 sizes of screws. We don't even need to deal with the standoffs right now, so I'm just gonna set them over here. And there's 2 sizes of screws. There's a long screws, I think they're 10mm, and shorter screws that are 8mm for the arms and the main plate. Oh, sorry, we also need the stiffener. We need the longer screws. So let me grab all those. Set the short 8mm screws aside. So the screw is going to insert up through the stiffener and through the arm and thread into the press nuts in the main plate, which come pre-installed. So that's really nice. The press nuts will come pre-installed into the main plate. It's really important to use thread locker on this. I've got thread locker here that you can brush on, and that's good for the other screws. But for these, I just like, you know, more standard squirt tip. And just to make things easy, I just actually squirt it right into the nut. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but it's kind of convenient. no matter how hard I try, I always get it on my fingers. Here, get down in the threads. We're gonna grab our long 10mm M3 screw, insert it through the lower stiffener, through the arm. So we just kind of line up the shape, and then thread it into the main plate. Really, we're just gonna give it like a 1, 2, 3. Yeah, barely threading it in at all. We just want to hold the parts in place. Here, we'll do the second screw on this one too. Just 1, 2, 3. Because we still want to get all the other ones in, and have to get over that soft mount that sticks up a little bit. Alright, I've got all 4 arms attached with the stiffener and the main plate. Just the screws are super loose. I wanted to get all the arms on before I tighten them down at all, so that they could all snug up against each other, because they do interlock in the middle. So now that they're all in place, we're just going to go around and start tightening them up. It's like the wheel of a car, kind of. Just like to work my way around it. And then I will go around and torque them tight. My method of applying the thread locker is really messy. It's freaking everywhere. Alright, so that's all set. Now let's grab our front carbon pieces, and this is like the camera cage assembly. The side pieces clamp on to the main plate. If I can line it up, yeah, they just insert like that. And then we've got horizontal standoffs. You can totally assemble the camera cage and then try to, squeeze in the camera later, but it's probably a little bit easier while everything is apart to just go ahead and kind of install the camera simultaneously with the camera cage. So there's space wide enough to be able to accept a full-size camera. You can also use a mini camera with an adapter bracket, or a micro camera with an adapter bracket. This is the Joshua Bardwell Rotor Riot Runcam Eagle. For the record, my favorite camera is the Rotor Riot Foxeer Predator. It's a mini camera with an adapter bracket, and it just sits in there really nicely. So regardless of which camera you use, just screw it to one of the front plates. So I just need one screw to hold it in place. We can add the other screws later. You just want the lens lined up with the front curved part. The top of the camera should be lined up with the this side, right? That is the straight, and then this tab thing. Anyways, with the camera in place, we're gonna grab the longer standoffs. I mentioned there's 2 sizes of standoffs. The size difference is really clear. This one is 20mm, and this one is the width of a full-size FPV camera, which is 28.5. So we'll grab that. We'll grab our 8mm screws. This is where I like using the thread locker that applies with a brush. It'll be way less messy and likely to get on my hands. We're only gonna do for now the bottom standoffs. So the ones that are down here, we're gonna skip this one up top at this point just for the moment. So that's attached. Set that over here. Bring this over here. Again, just loosely attaching everything. We'll go back and snug it all up later. So this is what I like, is that we've got the camera kind of like dipping down below the main plate. If you use a mini or micro camera, it won't dip down quite so far, but allows you to use any size camera and then have the top plate still with a lower profile. So you'll see that it's only 20mm above the main plate. So now if you are doing a full build, you might want to start putting on the other components before you put the standoffs in place, just because you'll have more room to work without bumping into the standoffs. Like I said, the screw holes in the arm and lower stiffener are large enough so that you can take your screw and just insert it all the way through into the soft mount gummy. See it poking through there? But I want to just get you walked through the whole frame assembly. So just pretend we've done the motors and the flight stack and the back electronics, whatever. Let's grab the short standoffs. We should have 5 of them. We'll just start up front. There's one standoff right behind the camera. And then the other 4 are in the back. Alright, so now we have the arms attached to the main plate, the camera plates clamped onto the main plate, all the standoffs in place. We're ready to put the top plate on. If you were doing assembly with all the other components installed, you might want to slide an antenna mount over the rear standoffs. So like over here we've got an antenna mount for 2.4 diversity. This one is for the Immortal T. I don't know how well you can see that. Just slides over and then you'll attach your antennas to the 3D printed piece, however it goes. We're going to go ahead and just drop the top plate on. So the top plate has these two slots here that are going to sit around the tabs on the side plates. So again, we've only got the front plates kind of loosely snugged up, so it's going to be really easy for this first initial assembly. They've inserted there. Now we'll just go around and put all the screws in. Alright, I've got the 4 screws installed back here. I've got more 8mm screws that come with the main frame kit. One would be for this front standoff here. We'd have 2 for the upper standoff, but the reason that I had you hold off on that upper standoff is that you're likely going to be using a GoPro mount, and the GoPro mount uses that upper standoff to hold it in place. So that upper standoff will actually insert into your GoPro mount, and then you'll still use your 2 8mm screws for the front plate, but the GoPro mount will include a longer screw. 8mm is just a little bit too short to thread through the 3D printed part and the carbon fiber and then into the standoff. It's supporting too much, so it risks pulling out the thread. So you'll get a longer screw. I think it's like 10 or 12mm. That will go into your 3D printed part. And then we'll do this one back here. And that's it. That concludes frame assembly. Now's a good time to go around and double check all your screws. You really want to have all of these tight before you fly the quad. There it is, all assembled. I think it looks really good. And if you ever need to work on it, I mean, I just love how it opens up, right? You just take off this front screw, swing the GoPro mount forward. 1, 2, 3, and 4 screws, and the top plate just pops off, and then you have access to all of the internals. Alright guys, that covers the general frame assembly of the Skyeliner. Thank you, thanks for checking this out. Thanks everyone who's been really enthusiastic about the release of this frame. I'm really proud of the design. I designed it myself. I just think it looks really cool, builds up really easily, flies really nice. I look forward to seeing some of you guys build this for yourself. Maybe take a picture, tag me on Instagram, and if you have any more questions about the Skyeliner frame specs or anything like that, let me know, and I'll probably be addressing it on this channel. See you later.